Hey guys, it's Jesse. I was reading an article the other day about something that Seth Godin, the popular marketing expert, had said in one of his books. And I wanted to address this really quickly with you guys because I know a lot of you are doing things for a living that maybe you don't really enjoy, aren't really passionate maybe about your job, or maybe you even like it, but you're thinking there could be more to life, more to experience. Maybe there's a new career that you're passionate about. And a lot of you are considering entrepreneurship as the way to make that happen, a way to experience life more fully. And some people, we've noticed recently that a lot of people are Googling online what is entrepreneurship. And also there's a little bit of a confusion, I think, about what types of careers fit in that mold. So what I wanted to address today is just this assumption that pretty much anything you do on your own is entrepreneurship. And what this article that I was reading outlined was that there's a really distinct difference between what you might consider freelancing and what you would call entrepreneurship. And so I wanted to spend just a quick minute talking to you about the difference between those two things, because if you're considering making a change in your career to get more freedom and the ability to live life more fully, this is something that you might want to take into account. So let's look at the definitions of each really quickly. So freelancing, as opposed to entrepreneurship, is really more still a job. And that's not a bad thing per se, because freelancing in many respects, I have lots of friends that are freelancers and they work for themselves and they work on their own terms, but they don't have a job that they go to, and it's not a 9 to 5 where they have to go into an office and they have to clock in and they have to report to a boss. They only get 2 weeks of vacation. Freelancing looks more like this. Let's say that you develop the skills of a graphic designer and you know how to maybe create logos or banners or posters or whatever else. You can create these kinds of things in a different arena than, say, getting a job where somebody hires you to do these things for a company. You can actually go on websites like elance.com, which we'll put the link up to right here, and you'll see that tons and tons of people are offering these services where individuals like you and me or actual companies can go online and they can hire these individual people to design their new logo or whatever for a given price. So what a lot of people are doing, that I believe in many situations they're calling entrepreneurship, is they're going off on their own and they're learning how to do graphic design, they're learning how to do coding, they're learning how to do photography or whatever, and they're doing this as a freelance career, and their incomes grow so large for those things that they're quitting their jobs and going full-time, ultimately getting this kind of freedom that we're talking about. That's an amazing thing. And a lot of you are considering entrepreneurship, and we'll talk about the definition of that in a moment, but a lot of you are considering starting a company and all of the things that come along with that, when really it might be better for you just to consider being a freelancer. A freelancer, a couple benefits of it. Number one, you don't have to wait forever to get paid. And we'll talk about this in a minute, as I said, but entrepreneurship, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 years before you start seeing any kind of major return from it. Freelancing, day one, I could go online and say, hey, I'm a graphic designer, and I could, if my pitch is good enough, get somebody to hire me. And that's instant money. Entrepreneurship, on the other hand, is all about creating something that can live and breathe and grow without you. So for instance, let's say that you want to start a landscaping company, right? You might start this company and start advertising and knocking on doors or whatever else you're doing to get clients, and you might say, hey, I run ABC Landscaping Company, here's what we do, here's why we're different, here's why you should do business with us. People sign up for it, and over time you build a client base, and you've got this investment that you put out up front for equipment and advertising and the LLC and all this kind of stuff. Well, it takes a long time to turn around, but the ultimate goal is that you're not doing the landscaping forever, right? The ultimate goal is that you get to the point where you can afford to hire somebody to do landscaping, and then you hire a second person, and then you hire a manager for those 2 people, and then you hire maybe 3 more people under them. And then it gets big enough that you need 2 teams, and now you need 2 managers, and then you got 6 teams, and now you need a director of operations managing the managers. And eventually the goal is that you create this system, this beautiful thing that can live and breathe and grow without you, to where you literally can have pure freedom, to where you can just say, hey, you know what, I think I want to go to Florida tomorrow, and you go, and you've got people who can handle the day-to-day responsibilities for you. At that point with entrepreneurship, what it really comes down to at the end of the day is strategy. Your job then is to grow the company and to build the systems and processes, and really to handle the financial piece and the marketing piece, the sales piece, and the operations piece, and oversee those like a bunch of chess pieces rather than doing landscaping. In contrast, again, if you go back over to freelancing, your idea is really to do the job yourself. And you're okay with doing that because you're going to do it on your terms. One other distinction I want to make between the two is freelancing and entrepreneurship is this. If you are really just wanting freedom from a 9-to-5, and your dream would be to make $40,000 to, let's say, $120,000 a year on your own terms, be able to work when you want, how you want, with nobody telling you what to do, other than your clients, of course, then freelancing could be the way to go. If you want to make $1 million a year and you want to just create like enormous wealth, and you want to be able to hire and make a difference in the lives of hundreds or thousands of people, and you want to maybe change an industry, or you want to solve a major problem in the market, then that's going to be very hard for you to do in a freelancing job, because even though you've got freedom and you created this thing on your own, you're really the one doing all the work, so there's not as much leverage. As an entrepreneur, you're creating maybe a graphic design company, to stay in with that same theme, where you're hiring graphic designers and people who manage them, and you're creating this whole system. And because you have all of these people who you're hiring to help you over time, you end up creating leverage where you've got a much bigger operation that can grow to, say, $1 million a year, and then $10 million a year, and then $50 million a year, to the point where you really only have to take home 1% of the profits for your own income, and you can still make multiple 6 figures or more. So freelance, not quite as much leverage, in some situations as much or more freedom, but not quite as much, as we said, income potential. Entrepreneurship, you're creating something that lives and breathes and even grows without you. That's really the goal of entrepreneurship. And you know, the income potential, the leverage is much, much, much larger. But as we said again, it all comes down to what you want. And if you need results right now, freelancing might be more for you. If you're willing to wait 3 to 5 years and really go at it, really grind, and put in the effort, so that one day, 3, 4, 5, 7 years from now, you can have something that lives and breathes and grows without you, that pays you a lot of money, then entrepreneurship might be the thing for you. So hopefully this clears things up as far as the difference between those two worlds. And Google Seth Godin, the article's all over the place where he talks about this. He is brilliant when it comes to marketing, so if that's something that fascinates you, you're going to want to look him up anyway. But just really consider, this is what I would encourage you, consider what it is you're trying to get. If you're trying to do the things that describe entrepreneurship, then by all means be an entrepreneur. If you're trying to do the things and get the benefits that would come just from freelancing, freelancing might be a much easier way to get there. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you have your own thoughts about the differences between freelancing and entrepreneurship, I know a lot of people do. I would love to hear them. And if you thought this definition was helpful and the differences between the two things, would love it if you shared it with your friends as well. Hope you have a great afternoon.